Hello, 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 hello. Who do we have in the kitchen today? Hello, everyone. Who do we have in the kitchen? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Eggs in this Kitchen, guys. If you're watching me from YouTube, you're welcome. If you're watching me from Facebook, you're welcome. So this afternoon here by my time, of course, evening in some places, we are making Afang soup. And I've made this soup like 2 times online, and that's because that is my soup. I eat it all the time, so I prefer whenever I'm making the soup, I can always come online to do it. So everyone that joined me today, hello Jacinta, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate. Lasbury, how far now? How you did? Anyway, today we are making Afang soup, and just as part of my preparation before coming online, I have to parboil my meat, almost get to the point of cooking, of being cooked completely. And after that, the rest things I do is just to show you guys what I do put in my soup. And like I said, making a fan soup is easy if you know the techniques. I've watched this fish already, but it's not possible to come online and start cooking meat. That is why I have to find a way to get the meat ready, at least 80% ready before coming online. And with that, we'll spend less than 40 minutes, showing how we can put other things. I've watched this fish, but I chose to remove the bones. Typically, sometimes I can throw in the fish like that without removing the bone, like I can throw it in as a big fish, but I chose to just remove it today to break it. So this is a bit soft. So for afan soup today, of course, typically it starts with you boiling your meat. You have to boil your meat, season it properly the way you like. I mean, to season meat for to season meat for soup generally is not such a big deal. It's just a question of you put your seasoning, put salt, and that's it. It depends if you're cooking okra soup or bono soup. You can actually add onion when you are seasoning your meat. Other than that, what you really need when you are cooking, when you're parboiling your meat for soup, not stew, for soup, what you really need is just seasoning and salt. But for soup, for when you're making stew, is a different thing entirely. There's so much you will need. Hello, Ju, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. So to season meat, like I said, which I've done, I simply use salt and seasoning. But one thing I did, because I know I'm making afan soup, is to ensure that there is no water in that. I mean that the water I have there is very minimal. When you're making afan soup, if you're in Nigeria, most likely, or places you can get water leaf, which I thought I would have gotten today, you don't need to have so much water in your meat. You just need to have enough, very little, because the water leaf will still produce some amount of water, very small. And if you happen to want to blend your kazi, which I will show you guys everything now, you have to take into consideration also that okazi you have to blend. And you are very hardworking, and that is commendable. Thank you so much, Esther Koweba. I really appreciate that. You are also very hardworking, I will guess. Thank you so much. Love soup with dumplings. Okay, good. Maria Helena, that's okay to know. But anyway, I've added my fish now. Remember also, like I said, if you notice, you might be asking, where is the water in the soup? Don't worry, the water is coming. But I've soaked my stockfish. I've soaked my stockfish for a long time with hot water. I soaked my fish also. If you look at it, stockfish I'm using is very, very clean. It has little or no, those wriggles inside. Look at the stockfish, I washed it, and if you can see it, it's very, very clean and a bit soft right now. So it's not gonna take us a long time to get cooked in the soup. But like I said, what is important is this. Once you add this, because I did not boil the meat to a point where it's completely well cooked, I need to boil it a little bit more. But in that process, I am now cooking the meat with the fish and with the stockfish. So that is the secret. So I might not put all this stockfish. I think it's way too much for this soup. I'm gonna leave this one. I don't want to get it too much. But anyway, if you look at this place now, you notice there is virtually no water. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna push this stockfish to the floor to be able to cook quickly because the meat is almost well cooked. I'll push it to the floor and let it cook well. Once as it's cooking, I'm going to get other things ready. But before then, I will show you guys other things I'm using. For this soup, for this Afang soup, guys, let's talk about it. Afang soup is generally consumed in Nigeria, but it has its origin in, I think it's Calabar, Efik, I think so, in the southern part of Nigeria, but it's consumed everywhere around the world for wherever you have Nigerians. I'm in Canada, and I'm making Afang soup here, which is good. So right now, there is something else I want to add to this. What I have here is just purely, it's just meat, but I just want to add some gizzard to it. This is not so important. This is gizzard, if you can see that. I just want to add some of it in it. Some people will say I like meat a lot because of the amount of meat you see in my soup. That is true. But surprisingly, I don't like meat that much. But because I want to add some of this to it, I'm just going to add some of this gizzard to it also. This is not important, guys. Like, remember, I've always said, when you're cooking, what is actually important when you're cooking is not the meat, or what gets your food very tasty. It's not even the meat you're using to cook. It's your style of cooking. What are the ingredients? What are the spices you have in your cooking? That is what will get your food or your soup very, very tasty. And now, because there's little water here, I'm going to add a little bit more water to this and allow it to keep cooking while I blend the crayfish and pour inside too. You see, before I cover this pot, I need to say this quickly. Okay, thank you for joining us today. When you're making soup, one thing is important. Once you get the spices ready and cook really well with your meat, you stand a good chance of having a very good, delicious soup. So getting it right at this point in time is more important than other things you want to add, like the leaf and other things. So right now, what I'm going to add more to this and allow to keep cooking is my crayfish. And here I have my crayfish. Which I will blend with some water. Just because I don't have time to blend it dry and start pouring it, I'll just blend it with some water and pour inside. Like I said, once you get it ready at this point, your soup will be delicious. So we focus on getting it ready here. So let's blend this quickly and then add to it. So right now, because I know this needed more water, I chose to use the water I would have added to blend the crayfish. So this is the crayfish going inside now. Remember, I blended it with water. So what I would do right now is once I've added all this, give it a quick stir. Give it a quick stir. And then we have to close it for some minutes, I will tell you, because we want it really well cooked. Before doing this, I will add just some salt. Remember I said once you get it right at this point, you are going to have a very delicious soup. Trust me on that. Hey, thanks for joining us today. How are you doing? So, yeah, and I want to get it right at this point. So I've added my salt and I'm going to add my seasoning. Once I add my seasoning, I'm going to give another quick stir. Remember, if I'm cooking okra, I'm not going to be stirring like this. You know that, right? So it's only because I'm cooking soup that doesn't have, the soup I'm cooking doesn't have fresh fish. So, or fish that can easily break. This Maggi is very strong. I don't have spread to start squeezing it, so I brought out places to just do it. So, let me just add just one more seasoning. Remember, this is when you get your soup delicious, not adding other things, not even your meat. The spices you combine, when you add them to your cooking, is when you get your food tasty. So I have my Maggi, which I will show you guys now. So this is, I can't break it inside, it was too strong. This is the Maggi I'm going to add now. Once I add it, I have my pepper. I can choose to use dry pepper, Cameroon pepper. I can choose to use also, what's it called? I can choose to use orange habanero, which I don't want to use. So for this, I'm going to be using Cameroon pepper to make sure this is okay. So right now what I've added to this meat is the stockfish, the dry fish, the seasoning, salt, and of course blended crayfish. Once you have all these things added, be rest assured that once it cooks well and the meat and the pomo absorbs it, it's gonna really get delicious at the end of the day. And for those that want to know the kind of meat I used in making this Afang soup, I used the shaki, that's tripe. I used cow leg. This is cow leg. I pulled out the meat. You guys can see it. I used, of course, normal beef, and I added some gizzard from chicken. So I don't want to call it assorted, but I only added gizzard from chicken, and I cooked, except for the gizzard, I cooked the meat 80% done almost. Minding how much water I added it when I'm cooking. So yeah, it's doing really great now, and we're gonna just cover it up, and then we'll talk about other things here. You know what? I'm gonna add the rest of the gizzard. It shouldn't be here. I just added the rest of the gizzard in there. So once this is taken care of, the next thing is to close it. Close it, and then let's talk about other things while this is cooking. For those that are just joining us today, you guys know my name already. I'm a Kenel of this kitchen. Welcome to my kitchen. We are making Afang soup today, and before coming online, I've actually prepped, gotten my Afang ready. And if I were to be maybe in Nigeria or somewhere, or if I were to have big mortar, not like this one, my mortar is very small. This is a very small one. It's a very small one. I would have pounded my okazi, because you need okazi leaf to make Afang soup. If you're in Nigeria, if you have good mortar, use it to pound your okazi after cutting it. But because I don't have big mortar, I had to use my blender. I used my blender to blend the okazi leaf. and this is what it looks like. It's I prefer to pound it if I have good mortar, big one. But in place of that, I use my blender to blend it. So this is one of the I would say ingredients that give okazi leaf the best delicious taste you want to see. So this is it, and okazi here. And I thought I got this ready. This is uh, this is spinach. For those that live in the Western world, this spinach is in the group of water leaf. If you don't have water leaf and you want to make afang soup, the next alternative would be spinach. But the thing about spinach is this: it produces lots of water. So when you're using spinach to cook afang soup, if you can blanch it, yes, it's actually very recommended to blanch it first before you use it to cook. So this is the blanched spinach with this one. When you blanch it, you use something like muslin cloth to seal it. And just to show you guys, this is the water or the juice I got from blanching this. You can see how this, I didn't add water when I'm doing this. So this is all the water that would have gone inside the soup if I didn't blanch this. So it's kind of a bit tasking to blanch this, but it's recommended. So do you want to have all this water in your food and keep cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking until you're tired of cooking, and then the leaves will turn brown and stuff like that? Because I want my soup to remain fresh, I have to blanch it and take out this juice. This is actually very nutritious. This juice is very nutritious. You can drink it if you want, but I don't need it in my soup. This is what I need in my soup, not this one. And for those that I think sometime last year, I think I posted a video of how I blanch spinach. I don't know if I have to post that again, but it's just the way you blanch bitter leaf by squeezing it. The difference is that bitter leaf, you add water when you're blanching bitter leaf, but spinach, it produces water, so you don't add a single drop of water. The only reason you're blanching it is to take out the excess water actually. For bitter leaf, you add water to take out that foamy juice. So this is it. Now another thing that we need to remember that afang soup requires very well is oil. I'm not saying you should pour 1 gallon of oil in your cooking, but afang soup requires lots of oil to have that look, that texture, and also possibly also that taste that you want. So I've got oil here. Definitely, I'm not going to use all this oil definitely, but I've got my red oil that I'm going to use. So yeah, so what we are doing right now is giving this meat time to cook and absorb the spices, the crayfish, everything. Now I'm going to add my pepper. I don't have to, but I'm going to add some pepper here. I have two kinds of pepper, but I prefer to add Cameroon pepper instead. So this is Cameroon pepper I'm going to add here. If you don't like spicy food, don't add too much. If you don't like spicy food, don't add too much. I like pepper a lot, so that is why I add pepper to my cooking. I love when I mean a lot. But don't mind me do I add pepper here. You don't have to. If you don't like pepper, do I do? So I'm just gonna give it a quick stir to make sure all the meat also absorbs the pepper. I'm going to give it a quick stir and leave it also to continue cooking. I want to be sure by the time I'm done, the pepper, everything would have, the meat would have soaked the pepper and everything. And then it gets not just delicious, but spicy, just the way I like it. So, yeah, this is okay now. What we're going to do now is to let it cook a bit so the water can dry a little bit more. I don't like water in my food. I don't like too much water in my food, in my soup when I'm cooking. Big Auntie, Auntie Reed, thanks for joining us. You're not late. How you doing? How is Saskatoon? Anyway, guys, my big auntie just joined us today. Auntie Regina, thanks for joining us. I appreciate you joining us today. So let's go back to our cooking. We are giving this time to cook more. Remember, I say it again and again and again. If you get it right here, the soup will likely be very delicious. If you don't get it right at this point, no matter how much meat you pack and put inside, it might not be that very much tasty the way you expect or the way you want it. So, but we are going to get it right now. So, I think virtually everything we want has been added here. The three things left not yet in this soup is my oil, my spinach, blanch spinach, that is this one, and of course my what is it called, my okazi leaf that I blended. So I've got my seasoning here, I've got my salt just in case, but so far I've added my meat. Let's keep counting it. I've added my meat. I added my all kinds of meat. Remember, I have cow leg here, cow head here, normal or more here, cow skin, normal beef. I have chaki, that's tripe. I have what else here? I have yeah, tripe, and I have what else? Yeah, I mentioned cow head already. So in addition to that, I have my dry fish inside. Oh, Jeremy is also there. Wow, that's good. Wow, that's good. If he join us today, hallelujah. Thanks for joining us, Ify. I really appreciate, man. Thanks you guys for joining us today. Anyway, other things I added to this my cooking is I added dried fish, like I said. Remember, wash your dry fish very well. It needs to be washed with hot water. And then, of course, add your stockfish if you have stockfish. Stockfish is not really so important if you don't have it. I don't want to give the impression that you need to have everything I have in this soup before you can make it. You don't have to have everything. Once you have your crayfish, dry crayfish, and maybe some dry fish, you are good to go. You don't need to have the cow head, the cow leg, the shaki, the fuku, the gizzard. No, you don't need all that. It's only because I have all that. That is why I added them. So you don't need all that. Remember that, please. So those things will not really get this Afang soup very delicious. What will get this Afang soup very delicious is the crayfish, mainly the crayfish. When you add your crayfish, how much you allow the crayfish to cook very well with the rest of the protein you have inside. Cow leg typically will not be very tasty if you don't cook it very well and it absorbs other spices. Because pomelo is sweet, that's the truth. Pomelo is not sweet. Whether not from cow head, whether not from cow leg, whether not from the cow skin, you still get pomelo. You know they're really sweet. So you have to look for a way to get pomelo very sweet. I would sweet is not the right word. Maybe tasty. Tasty should be the right word to use, not sweet. So to get more tasty, to get cowhead tasty, spicing is important. Can we use kale and spinach? Jessica, the thing about using kale is this: if you're making a vegetable soup, you can use kale. I don't use kale myself because I have other alternatives here in my province. If you don't have other alternatives, that is, if you're making vegetable soup, remember you don't use kale. Uh, how did you get the fresh okazi leaf? Well, let me answer the first question. If we can use, the second question, you cannot use kale and spinach if you're making okazi soup. If you're making vegetable soup, yes. If you don't have access to pumpkin or go, use kale and spinach. Remember, spinach produces lots of water. I keep saying it. You can see the amount of spinach I got this water from. Look at the water. This is almost like more than 1 liter, close to 2 liters. That is because I blanched the spinach. So when you're using spinach, be very understand that if you don't use spinach well, your soup will get watery, and that is not what you want. So if you don't want your vegetable soup to get very, very, very light or watery, and you're using spinach, blanch it. If you're using water leaf, you don't have to. I thought I would have used water leaf today, but I couldn't get it where I went to get it. That is why I'm using spinach again today. So, if you're using water leaf, anytime you're using water leaf, please remember this water, or call it juice. Remember this. So, yeah, having said this now, back to your question, Jacinta. Yes, kale and spinach for vegetable soup, but not for okazi soup. And you asked where I got fresh okazi. Wherever so long as you are in North America, you can always go to an African store. Okazi is one of the leaves that typically that remains fresh over a long period of time. It remains fresh and green. So what I do is I go to African store to buy it, and it's kind of it's sealed. They cut it, they chop it into bits like we do back home, and then seal it. It remains very fresh for as long as you want it, very fresh and green. Unlike oha leaf that will go brown or even dark after some time, or even ogun leaf too that will go bad after some time. But they have a way of preserving ogun leaf here, which is not as fresh as you want to have it. But it's better than nothing. So, but certainly of all the leaves that we have here in Canada, and I would say even in US, the ones that typically you get frozen and still fresh is okazi, otazi, and oziza. Yes, these three are always very fresh. Oziza, otazi, and okazi, they're always very fresh. Or Ogo is not fresh when you get it from Africa. When you get it frozen, it's not fresh. Oha is never fresh. Oha is just dark or brown when you get it. So trust me, if you happen to go to an African store, you get fresh ones there. It's only frozen ones here, but not fresh we got here in African store. Oh, I'm not sure why it's not fresh, but I wish I can see the pack. This is the pack of the ones we get here. It's actually very fresh. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I can get some out. It's very, very fresh. The ones we get here. Not sure why it's not fresh in US, but yeah, it's only frozen ones, but not fresh we got here in African store. Yeah, just remember I said I still get mine from African store, but it's fresh. Well, when I mean fresh is that it's still green, like it's still like green leaves. Unlike oha leaf that will go dark once it's frozen. Oziza leaf remains green. Okazi remains green. That's the one we are using today. And even Okazi still remains green. So those that are watching me from YouTube, I know what I'm still watching from YouTube. I'm not looking so much on YouTube. I'm not facing YouTube so much, but you guys are welcome to Ezin this Kitchen and always welcome. So those from you on Facebook, if you have any question, leave it in the comment section. I will say it now. You see what I'm talking about? The focus for me is making sure that this cooks really well. Now, even if I don't add anything to this meat, now if you're eating the meat, it gets very tasty. Even if I don't add other things. So now the meat is almost ready. So the meat has absorbed all the spices, the salt, what's it called, the crayfish, the pepper, the seasoning, what else? Yeah. So it's really get very tasty, and if you can see here, there's virtually no water here. So what I'm going to add at this point now is this. You might be wondering, There's some soup you want to be cooking. Maybe you want to go with this first, or you want to go with the occasionally first. No. What I'm going to go with first here now, the next will be oil. The only reason I want to add oil here is oil has to cook really good. When you're making your food, remember oil can cook and get cooked well. I mean, we can use oil fresh, but when you're using it to make soup, make sure you add oil in advance to cook really well. I'm not going to add this. This is not going to cook for so long in my food. It's not going to cook for so long. Thank you, Ibe. Thank you for joining us. Oh my God, my spoon has entered here. My spoon has gone inside. So also, this will not cook for so long. So right now, what I will focus on is how to mix this my oil. I'm going to pour out the top. Yeah. One of the ways I mix oil is first of all, take out the top. Once I take out the top like this, I would then be able to just turn it up, to shake it. So the oil is getting close to be added now. So I'm going to shake this. Shake, shake. What's that song name again? I remember that song. I talked about shake, 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 shake. Anyway, guys, I think it's Beyonce that sang that song. We talked about shake. So what we're doing now is to make sure I mix the oil very well. And while I'm shaking it, I'm avoiding the flour. I don't like this part. This part is a bit dark, so I'm making sure I don't shake this part to join it also. You can see it's dark. That will have here, but certainly the rest is okay. So when I've done this, I can then pour this one back if I want to, but right now, I'm going to add my oil. But remember, I still have my spinach here. I still have my okazi here. Remember that. Some people actually add both at the same time. I'm not adding both at the same time. I want my oil to cook and get absorbed by these spices too. Oil can also add its own flavor to cooking. So let's see how it's doing. If I put my distance definitely first. Remember I said from the beginning, Afang soup takes lots of oil. Remember that, please. It takes a lot of oil to make Afang soup. So I need to be sure, do I need some more? I think I'm good with what I added. I think that's enough. I would think so. Let me see right now. By the time you add your leaves, your okazi leaf, and of course your spinach, the oil will disappear actually. So, and now I added my oil. What is next for me also is to cover it, and allow it to continue cooking again. When you're making soup, don't rush it. Just take it easy. Take it easy. You will achieve that delicious taste you're looking for. But take it easy. Don't rush it. That is how I try to achieve some of the things I do here. So again, if you're watching, this is a can of in this kitchen. Welcome to my small kitchen. I used to have a big kitchen before, but I now have a small kitchen, and you know what? I love it. So this is where I make all the food. Those things you guys see me post on my page. It's from this small space here that I make those things. So yeah. Today is Saturday. Typically I go live on Saturdays to cook, and that is what I'm doing. I wasn't live last weekend. That was because I think there was nothing to cook, and yeah, I chose to wait this weekend. And for those people watching me today, please join me tomorrow I'm also making oha soup tomorrow. I wanted to make uziza soup tomorrow, but I chose to make oha soup instead. And the only reason I choose to make oha soup tomorrow is because I got fresh oha to use. I have dry oha, frozen oha in my fridge, but I got a fresh one. So I prefer to just use it quickly and not even bother storing it in the fridge. So I'm going to change my menu for tomorrow live stream from Oziza soup to oha soup. And then maybe next weekend we'll make Oziza soup. So bear with me, guys. And again, I'm making it with chicken. I don't want to keep eating just beef, meat, cow head, blah blah blah. I'm making my oha soup tomorrow with chicken. And hot chicken. You will love it, trust me. So everyone that joined, thank you for joining us. We are almost getting close to the end. What we are waiting for right now, like I said, is the oil has to cook really good. Caspar Ugwanye, thank you for joining us today. Welcome. Favor Bonna, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you guys. Remember, please, if you have the opportunity to share my live stream, my short videos, please share among your friends. Let's get them to watch it. Let them join us also, and then let's keep building the page. Oh my God, you seem that you were expecting a pot of food for your birthday. I maybe I have to find a way to send it via courier to you. But I'm very sure you had a very splendid birthday. I'm very sure you did. Maybe without the food, but you will get some of you will get some. I promise you that maybe I will make an inquiry to know how I can ship or courier a big pot of soup for you. Maybe I'll do that. But anyway, I hope you had a very wonderful day. And maybe hang out with friends or something. Yeah, okay, I hope you did so. But I owe you one big pot of soup. I owe you one, okay? So right now, let's keep going. We just make, yeah, you did. I'm glad you did, yeah. So, what we are waiting for now? What we are waiting for basically is to give this room to cook more. That's what we are waiting for. The oil has to cook really good. Oil has to cook. That is what we are waiting for. If you're one of those that will just put oil in the soup and bring it down, that is not how it's done. Oil has to cook. It has to cook really good. So, I mean, you can actually bring this thing down like this and start eating. It's actually good enough. So we are almost done. Certainly, we will be here for just about an hour, not more than that. We are almost done. Let's see how he's doing. Yeah, he's doing really good. I love the spice there. I love the taste. I think I might add more pepper. No, I don't want to add more pepper. I'm good. Even though it's dry pepper, but I don't want to add more. So this is good. Right now, what is next is you can add both of this at the same time, the spinach and of course the okazi leaf that I blended, both at the same time. But let's give this just 2 more minutes to cook before we do that. Everyone that joined me on Facebook, on YouTube, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for this wonderful time that you guys are spending with me in my kitchen. I love you guys for that, trust me. And let's keep going. Because this soup is big, I'm very mindful of how much of, well, I might not necessarily add all the spinach. The thing I need to say something also. When you're making Afang soup, don't let the okazi to be too much. I mean, don't let it to dominate the spinach or the water leaf so much. Okazi leaf is not supposed, the texture is not supposed to be very strong. It's supposed to be almost like slippery, not slippery per se, but it shouldn't be really strong. The texture shouldn't, you shouldn't feel so much of okazi inside. Rather, you know that texture of water leaf when it's cooked, right? When you touch it, it's almost like slippery. That is how typically Afang soup should be. Not like you have lots of carbs inside. No, you don't want so much of a carb inside. So I probably might not add all of this, certainly not all of this. I just keep washing it. How much of this I will add depends on how much of this the spinach I have inside the soup. So let's remember that. And I have this spinach already, and I've got this spinach already. So we are keeping to time. This is 40 minutes already. We will certainly be out of this place in about 15 minutes. We should be done. So let's keep going. Is there something we are forgetting? We're not forgetting anything. Sometimes when I'm cooking, I might forget something. Trust me. But I want to be sure I'm not forgetting anything. I've got everything I want inside. And yeah, am I forgetting something here? No. Remember, guys, join me. Don't forget tomorrow at the same time, 12. Join me. Let's make delicious oha soup with fresh oha. I've been looking for fresh oha for a very, very long time, and I got one today. So we're going to make the most delicious oha soup tomorrow. Trust me. So now this is good enough. Now this is good enough. Let's just finish it up now. I think this oil is enough. So let's go with my spinach. Sometimes when you're looking at spinach, you almost want to think it's too much, or it's never too much. Spinach, by the time you enter this soup, you will not even see it again. And once I put this, I'm going to add my oziza leaf also. So this is the spinach is even too small, very small. So that means the meat inside is too much, which is fine. The meat inside is too much, and it's fine. The Sylvia asked, thank you so much. He said, wahoo, good. Anyway, let's keep going. Now we have the rest of the spinach to add. It's still very small, I will tell you. Still very small. Remember, watch the texture of the soup. No too much water. Virtually no water inside. So at this point now, I'm going to add my oziza okazi leaf. Let's see how we're going to do with that. Some people do actually add the okazi leaf first before adding the rest. Where's my spoon? Where did I keep my spoon? Anyway, let's keep going with this now. You know, guys, do you not have my spoon inside this place? Can you imagine? My spoon fell inside. Oh, God. So let's see how we are doing with this now. Again, let's see how we are doing. Remember I talked about the texture. The texture is very important. How you get the texture of the soup is important. So let's see how we're doing. I want to be sure before it starts trying to produce more water, I should have brought it down. Once I add all this, I don't really let it cook so much. For those that know how spinach doesn't take time to cook at all. And because I put my soup in the fridge, I have to leave it. I don't have to, oh my God, I don't have to get it to really cook so much because I still have to bring it out thaw it and then warm it when I'm eating. So let's see. I think we might need more. I don't know. We might need more. Yeah, I think we might just need a little bit more. Not everything. This should be enough. So I'll be at this point. You need to be careful. If you allow it to keep cooking for so long, it will produce more water. Even though I've taken out all the water when I blanch the spinach. You also have to remember that it can get more water in there if you don't take time. So when I turn it like this, I'm going to test for salt. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, not so much. And that's it. So once this is one soup when I'm cooking, I can turn and turn and turn and turn. Unlike when I'm cooking okra, that I rarely turn the soup. So I think I got this right. The meat is not actually too much. So I'm going to leave it now to just cook for some time, and then we are good to go. The focus right now is not how I'm not trying to cook the vegetable to get done. No, the vegetable is okay. If we cook the vegetable to get done, it will get yucky. Like my kids will say, yucky. Yucky. So it's not going to get done, but just enough to mix very well with the soup. So you can choose to close it completely. You can choose to add this here and just leave it like this, so some amount of steam can just come out. But anyway, this is all about making Afang soup. I'm not sure if I've missed anything. I don't think so, but it's important you understand what are the requirements, what are the things you're supposed to put when you're making Afang soup. Again, if you're making Afang soup, you also need to understand that your spinach or your water leaf typically should be more than your kazi leaf. Whether you pound your kazi or you use blender like me, however you like it, do it, but your water leaf or your spinach should be more. Remember also, crayfish is very, very important. And you need to put that early enough in your cooking so that it can cook and the meat and the pomo and whatever you have inside will absorb that flavor from crayfish. It gets tasty. You don't want to cook and the soup itself, the juice from the soup itself is tasting one thing, and when you bite the meat, it's tasting something else. Like as if you just parboil meat and put inside. Your meat should be able to absorb all the spices you have in your cooking. When making your soup, it's important you know that. If you cook and when you eat the meat in the soup, it's not tasting like what came out from that soup. You have to ask yourself, how did I make this food? Why is my meat tasting like I just parboiled it, and then the soup is tasting different entirely? So, but with this one, you guys can see how well it's doing. The oil was added first, and I allowed the oil to cook really good. I allowed the oil to cook really good before adding the vegetable. Now you're not going to say the oil is not well cooked. The oil is well cooked already before adding the vegetables. As you can see, it's well cooked. By the time you eat this now, you will be sure that you're going to enjoy the soup. Because every taste you're looking for in Afang soup is here. Every taste you're looking for is here. It's not just about the meat, but about the soup itself. What taste am I going to get if I don't have meat, but I have just this soup here? What taste will I get? That is the question you ask yourself. And if you get a very delicious taste when you're done, be rest assured that you did a good job. So we're not even going to be here for up to 1 hour. This is 15 minutes already. So, but this is just 3 more minutes. We are out. We are done. We're just gonna give this some time to cook a little bit more and let you guys see it too. I'm sure you can see it very closely. I don't know, but maybe I keep saying I will post a video of the making, but I've made so many soup online. I've not even posted the video, but I'll try to post the video of this one. Cross fingers. I will try to post it, the short video, so you have a close look of what the soup is like, and maybe also the one for tomorrow, the oha soup I'm making tomorrow. I'll try to also post a short video, maybe hopefully in the next 1 month or thereabout. But first, coming online to make this to cook is important for me, so that you guys can see. I just turn off the stove. I don't need the heat again. Just turn off the stove. So coming online to cook is really important for me. So you guys can see, for some people that might want to know how to do it or ask questions, can easily see how it was done and how I can do it myself. That is why I always want to come online to do it. Coming online to also cook comes with a lot of, well, I say risk, because you want to be sure you're doing the right thing, so that you don't just do anyhow, and then people that know how to cook will look at you, oh, you did it wrongly, something like that. So, but anyway, I wanted to just say, Namaka, thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. So, I wanted you guys to just see not just my short videos, but also have the opportunity to see me cooking. Most of my short videos these days, you guys see my face doesn't always show that, but my live stream, I'm almost all the time showing my face, talking, trying to explain what I'm doing in the process of cooking. And that is exactly why I love coming online to do this. So we are done for today. I'm glad we didn't spend up to an hour to finish today. That is great. Tomorrow, most likely, we will not be here up to an hour also. We are making a hot soup tomorrow. But guys, if you love my kitchen, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, please share my videos. I really appreciate that. If you keep sharing my videos, I really appreciate that. Let's get more people to join us on this stage, to watch our live stream, to watch our videos, and encourage who wants to learn how to cook to also join us. So that is really good. That is really, really, really good. I want to be sure that we are not just enjoying cooking here, but somebody is also learning something. Yeah. So we are done for today, and I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. For the meantime, if you know really how to cook, you will know what normally comes on top of the soup when you're done, like some oily stuff that come on top, when you're done cooking. That shows we are done cooking for today. So I love you guys. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow on my live stream, 12 o'clock, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and of course, 7 p.m. West African Time. Or if you're watching direct from Nigeria, it's still 7 p.m. Nigeria time. I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Till then, always make sure you find reason to be happy and put a smile on somebody's face. I love you guys. Bye.